My name is Ruth Wirth. My maiden name was Goldschmidt, and that is a rather important name within B'nai B'rith in Australia, as my grandfather, Ernst Goldschmidt, was the founder of B'nai B'rith in Australia in 1944. And he had been a member of B'nai B'rith in Vienna, and as a refugee in 1939, he and his wife and his son, my father, and his daughter-in-law, my mother, came to Australia, and he felt a need to set up an organisation here, well, to continue along the lines of B'nai B'rith, of the brotherly and sisterly love that had been so much part of his life in Vienna. And as refugees in Australia, they didn't have much, well, in common with the Australian Jews in Australia, living here. And there was a cultural difference, and, well, you might say that they felt they weren't totally accepted here, wearing the long coats and carrying briefcases, a very European look about them. And he felt the need to pursue the starting of B'nai B'rith in Australia. They started off having meetings in George Street in a building there called the Tabuth building, and they talked and dreamed about setting up B'nai B'rith in Australia. And one day he put an ad in the paper, Jewish News, asking for anyone who was interested in starting up a B'nai B'rith in Australia. And to his surprise, many of the old brethren were happy to start this, and so his dream came true. Grandfather belonged to B'nai B'rith in Vienna in I would imagine, the 1920s. He became, well, there was a thriving Jewish community in Vienna. There were actually 200,000 Jews in Austria, most of whom lived in Vienna. And I think it was just part and parcel of Jewish life there. It wasn't so much a religious group as a pluralistic organisation where they could get together at a cultural level and exchange ideas of life and help voluntarily with the less fortunate members in Vienna, and I guess it was a prestigious thing to join. In those days, you had to actually be asked to join. You couldn't just apply to join. Well, you could apply, but no, you had to be asked and then go through a vetting system. And he became president in 1935 of one of the many B'nai B'rith groups in Vienna, called the Vienna Group. And in fact, Sigmund Freud had been a member of his group. So yes, he was very much part of B'nai B'rith in Vienna, and he wanted to continue this tradition, this fine tradition of helping the community. In the beginning, when he first started it was set up to actually help the widows of some of the men that had died. That was very much part of the organisation, to help the community. And that group, the widows were often alone, and they were given a mentor from B'nai B'rith who helped them with their financial situation and their paying of bills and their general helping in Australia. adapting to a new life. Yeah. I'm very proud of my family's contribution to B'nai B'rith, and it really takes a certain person to be part of B'nai B'rith, a caring, sharing and thinking mainly of other people. That's what the organisation is all about, and that was my family through and through, and I feel I have to, I have been given these attributes, and I feel it's just normal to contribute and help other people in need.